Hello, Mr. Lee. Today is November 23rd. It's a Sunday, and today I'm going to interview my father, Dr. Glenn Ferguson. How's your day?
It was great.
Great. So, can you answer these 8 questions for me? Number 1, is there a single person or event that you feel has most significantly impacted your life? If so, who/what was it, and how did it impact you?
Well, I started my job that I currently have about 32 years ago as an entry-level person in the company that I'm now in. This was before I went back and got my PhD and what have you. But there was a senior vice president there that kind of took me under his wing and sort of gave me lots of advice and guidance and actually helped me go back to school part-time to do my PhD. And Dr. Bob Willis, and he was really kind of helped shape my career and made me what I am today. So that is probably one of the people in my, there's lots of them, but one of the persons that helped guide me.
Cool, so like a mentor.
He was very much a mentor, one of my first mentors.
Nice. So number 2, how do you feel life was different from when you were growing up as a teenager to when teenagers today?
Well, back when we were teenagers, we didn't really have computers. I had a Commodore 64, which was one of the first computers, very rudimentary graphics and stuff like that.
Right.
But we spent a lot of time outside. And I spent a lot of time reading books and things like that because we didn't have iPads and computers and iPhones that you could watch shows on and things like that at the drop of a hat. We had a TV, but it wasn't recorded, like, so you had to watch the episode when it came on that time, and if you missed it, you had to wait for reruns. So it was a lot different than the on-demand that you have now, that you can pick up whatever you want, watch it whatever you want, stop it and start it. And I think it's affected that people don't go out and do stuff outside, play as much. Like, I spent a lot of time playing baseball in the summertime. Like, we'd be out from early mornings in the summertime till late at night when our moms would call us back in.
Right.
So with the kids in the neighborhood. So, and I don't see that as much these days. So I think that's a big difference. The sort of electronics and the internet and computer games and things like that have all kind of dominated time.
So like brain rot.
Yeah, a little bit. But there's good parts to it as well.
Yes, of course, yeah. That's what happens when, internet grows. So, number 3, do you think teenagers are better off today than when you were a teenager? If so, why? Or if not, why not?
Well, I think there's a lot of positive things. I think the world is a much smaller place nowadays, like the ability to travel easily, go all over the place. When I was young, I didn't go on as many trips as you're able to go on because it wasn't as readily available, but you could, but it was more expensive. And, I think your ability to use the internet for research, to gather information is a lot different than when I grew up, and things like that. So I think there's a lot of changes that are different. I think some things I think there's some things that are too much, like too much internet and not enough. You need to have a balance between them. And we've talked about that in the past.
Right, so like social life.
That's right. I think that portion of it is affecting the young people these days because I don't think there's as much social interaction other than through texts and maybe listening on their game chats while they're playing games or whatever, but not as much person-to-person contact.
Right. So spend more time outside.
Touch the grass, as they say. Yes.
Fair play. So, number 4, what are some important life lessons that you've learned growing up?
Well, I think try hard at whatever you do. Try to plan ahead. Set yourself goals that I want to do this, and then try to build yourself towards those things. If you want to be a doctor, well, then think of what you need to put in place to get to that point. If you want to be a Major League Baseball player, think of the type of training and things like that. And try to slowly work towards it. Be positive about those kind of things. Those are the kind of things I always try. And we've talked about in the past, kind of sort of pushing towards and maximizing your ability. And then be happy. Try to find things in life that make you happy and enjoy. Like a career that you like and that you'll enjoy. hopefully, if you like travel, have the opportunity to go see the world and do cool things and that kind of stuff. That's basically it.
Nice. So number 5, what is one piece of advice that you would like to give to me?
Set goals and try to strive towards them, and
Right.
try to do things in a timely manner. Don't leave things to the last minute, because then things can happen, right? So if you plan ahead and do things early, like assignments, for example, or study for tests a little bit at a time, you're not cramming it into your brain at the last minute.
Right.
The same thing goes with life. If you set yourself goals, try to work towards them gradually, you'll find you'll get there a lot quicker than if you're trying to push really hard at the last minute.
Right. Yeah, it's actually very smart. Yeah. All right, so for my questions. So, number 1, what is something that you learned from your parents or family that you still carry today? So this could be from your mom, dad, or just like siblings.
Yeah, my parents put a good, I think, work ethic into me. Like, we always, I started working really young. I had a paper route when they delivered papers house to house, stuff, and even in the snow and the sleet and stuff like that to make some money. Because that Commodore 64 I talked to you about, my mom and dad didn't just give it to me.
Yeah, you earned it.
I had to buy it. My dad lent me the money to buy it, and then I had to pay him back. It took me a couple years to pay him back, but I had to pay him back with birthday money and money I earned from my paper route and stuff. But it showed me the value of money and how much it costs, and to, like, I could spend this money that I earned on gum or I could save up, right, and pay these off. So I think that gave me a good work ethic when I was young, all the way through. And learned how to save money and the value of money. So I thought that was a pretty good thing that they did.
Nice. So for my second one, so how were your goals or like dreams? How did they change when you were younger to where you are like right now?
Well, you have to adapt in life. Like when I was going into out of where I was your age, I thought I was going to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor. But when I got to university and I looked around and stuff, I wasn't feeling that as a career at the time. I didn't think that I wanted to be a medical doctor at the time. So I took a kind of a change in it. So you got to be willing to be adaptable in that, to see where you think your life might go and move in those directions. So I would say stay flexible and adaptable. Don't panic right now if you don't know what you want to do for your life. It sometimes takes a while. Some people change in that. So just do your best right now at whatever you're doing, like get your best possible marks and do the best in your courses, because it gives you the maximum flexibility to get into university programs, whatever you decide to do. And then if you go into a university and you don't like it after 1 year, you can shift to something else. You have a good basis of marks and ideas to go from there.
Right. Actually, real quick follow-up question. Are you happy that you didn't become like a doctor?
Well, I still think I would have liked to have done it. I still look back and think that might have been, like, I always liked going into, I thought about going into pediatrics, which is a children's doctors kind of thing. So I thought about that. I still think about that at times, but I'm not unhappy with where my career went. I think it's been pretty successful and been able to support my family quite well, and it's fun. I enjoy doing it. So few regrets, but not a lot of regrets.
Yeah, not just like.
It would have been a lot of work to do that as well. And like I said, when I was in my undergraduate years, I wasn't kind of feeling it. So you make that decision and you kind of close that door a little bit. I could have gone back and done it, but it started going successfully where I was in my career, so I kept going.
Hey, pretty good choice, yeah. So my last question. So how has the world changed? So this is like technology, like AI, and then like how do you think this affects like the world like today?
Well, it's interesting because when I was young, your age, if I had to do an assignment or something like that, my parents had these things called World Book encyclopedias.
Right.
So we bought them 1 year, and they had, like, they're kind of like textbooks with different topics in alphabetical order. So if I needed to do a research paper about Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone, I'd look in and hope that it was in there. Or the other alternative, you had to go to the library, either the school library or the public library in the area, and hope that there was a book there on it, right? So that, it was kind of hit and miss whether you do it
Right.
or you ask your parents where you can get that kind of information. Sometimes you can buy a book at a bookstore or something like that. Now you have it at your fingertips.
Right.
It's funny, when I was doing my master's and PhD, my doctoral research, it kind of switched. The internet kind of became a more viable thing, because when I was doing my master's, I had to get all the papers for my thesis work. I'd be spending tons of time at the library,
Just reading.
getting the books from the musty circular, going to the photocopier and photocopying the various articles that I would want. When I did my PhD about 3 years later, when I started it, it kind of switched where a lot of the journals were being now PDF'd and posted. You could download them online. Right. So instead of having piles of photocopy papers on my floor in my office, my doctoral office, I had them on my computer now. I could download them from the library basically, and I could bring them up on my screen, much like you can do now. Like you can pull up articles and do research entirely on your screen. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go to the library.
Right.
You don't have to check anything. You can get anything. And now with AI, it's even easier, because you can pull summaries that look all over the place, do the looking for you, and then you can get that information. But I think the key is you need to follow where it goes and go back to the original articles, so that you are doing the interpretation of the AI.
You don't, just don't overwork it, and you actually put the effort.
It's a tool, right? AI is a good tool to use, like a thesaurus or a summary of it, but make sure that you do the research yourself.
Yeah, it's not a total takeover.
Yeah, you don't want to cut and paste the summary from that. So I think that's the difference, right? Back then, you just didn't have as many resources, and you had to chase things down, and it was a lot harder, I think, to do research. Now it's all kind of at your fingertips by just typing it on your computer, and you can access anything around the world most days now.
Cool. Well, that's all the questions I have. Okay. So,
very good.
Thank you.
I'm glad to be helpful.
Good project.
Thanks, Mr. Lee.
Bye-bye.